Hi everyone, welcome. We have a little tutorial on Viparita Karani. My name's Katrina if we haven't met before. Viparita Karani you might have heard in flow power classes at the end, maybe yin or restorative classes with a little longer of a hold. For this one you might need a strap, it's optional, a yoga strap, belt, robe tie, something that kind of closes off. And you can always tie it so it goes around your calves, your ankles, or your knees when you're up. I'll show you both ways with and without. And so you can have it, you can try it. Maybe you don't like it, you don't need it. All right, so that's one. The second prop that's recommended, of course, you don't need it if your body doesn't need it, is a bolster. Really cushiony, a lot of support for your pelvis. You can always use a blanket, a big pillow, maybe even a big jacket if you don't have any of those. Just something to elevate your pelvis. In addition to a bolster, you might also use a yoga block, again, to elevate your pelvis. If you have any of these, it's really great. And of course, your yoga mat. And so Viparita Karani, Viparita means inverse or reverse, and Karani means in action. And so you can take that as reverse action. We sit so many hours of our day, especially now, working 8 hours on our desk, not really moving as much, not going out as much. It's really nice to kind of do the reverse action. And so all that blood that comes and stays in our feet when we're sitting 8 hours a day, we can legs up the wall and it'll all just flow down our pelvis into our torso and kind of refresh our body. And the same goes for, sometimes if you have those varicose veins, something that blood clogs, all of that, we kind of just let it flush out of our veins, out of our feet. And for our lymph system, it's a little different than our blood. So our blood obviously gets pumped through our heart, through our body, and it's a bit more automatic. And so our lymphatic system, it's not as automatic in that it moves as long as we move. And so when we're not moving, we're staying at home so many hours of the day, it's really nice to just do this, legs up the wall. It's a lot more passive than, going for a jog or going for a walk. It's something you can do just in 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your day, and really virtually anywhere. So we'll get started. I'll show you a couple different options. One is legs up the wall. Again, you might have seen this in yin or restorative classes. And something that's a little more passive, legs up the wall allows you to stay there and not use your hip flexors. And so when we have the second option, again, I'll show you, the second option when your legs are dangling and using your muscles to engage with your feet up, you tend to use your hip flexors, so the front of your thighs to keep your legs lifted. For legs up the wall, you can kind of just let your heels rest and disengage your front thighs. So the first option, you'll need your strap, your robe tie, your belt tie, anything like that. You can also take your block in case it's handy. And so using your bolster, your pillow, your blanket up against the wall. And again, there might not be a graceful way to do this, but I'll try. And so lift your seat up against the wall, your hip. And then you might, if you have tight hamstrings, you can keep it just a few inches away from the wall, no problem. And this allows your knees to bend slightly. And so use your hands, lean back, and then slowly rotate your body, your legs up against the wall. Right, and again, don't worry about how this looks. There's sometimes no graceful way to do yoga. Right, and then start to lean back. And so option one, without the strap first. You'll move all the way down. Relax your shoulder blades, let your collarbones roll open. Hands either to a wide V, maybe hands to a diamond, so you can breathe more space into your lungs. And you'll see that my knees are slightly bent. You'll want to keep that kind of, not looseness, but disengagement of your thighs and your muscles. And so just let your toes hang out if they flop out. And your knees stay bent slightly. And so don't worry about having your hips right up against the wall. Even if your legs are completely straight, you'll always want that teeny tiny little micro bend in your legs. And you might close your eyes from here, let the blood flow from your feet down your legs towards your hips, and rest in this really juicy posture. Option two. Sometimes, if I'm staying here for quite a while, my legs will slowly start to fall out. And this is when our strap comes in handy. And so second option, using that strap. You'll have to make it slightly bigger at first. Wrap it around your feet, your shins. Maybe I'll start with my knees just so I can hop my way up. And so once again, option 2, hip right up against the wall, up against the bolster, hands back. And slowly start to rotate. Rotate your chest, your legs. And then slowly leaning from your hands towards your forearms. All right, and then take your time getting into it, and so you're completely comfortable. If you're like me and you find your legs are slowly starting to move out the longer you stay, I really, really like this option to keep my legs more hip distance. And so you'll have that strap. You'll tighten it to wherever you want to keep your legs. And I usually keep it around my ankles, my shins. And then I can let my legs go. Again, that little bend. Arms are wherever's most comfortable. Shoulders together and collarbones wide. And make sure you have a long neck, and so you're not crunching your shoulder blades or shoulder heads towards your ears. And get spacious as much as you can. And really let the bolster and the strap do the work for you. So release any muscle engagement. Soften into your hips, the front of your thighs. And let every single toe go. You might even wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And then settle into this posture. And then sometimes when I'm really feeling yin-like, I can close my eyes and just really focus on my breath. And then if you pay really close attention, you might even feel the blood flowing from your feet all the way down towards your hips. And then again, if you stay long enough, you might even feel your heart beating faster. Right, and so that's option legs up the wall, also known as Viparita Karani. And to get out, come from your shoulder blades, pop up to your forearms, your elbows, bend your legs, and then you might turn to get up. And so just as we kind of got in, don't worry about being super, super graceful coming in and out. Release your legs from the strap. Right, and then you might hop off. And so our second option, again, using the bolster, really, really nice to elevate our hips. You don't need it every time. If you don't have one, no problem. And so if we're doing this, in a yoga class or something in the middle of a room with no walls, you'll again put your hip right up against the bolster, maybe up against the middle of your mat. You might even put your butt on the bolster. My mic comes off, of course. And then you'll just want to switch around, turn. And then again, lean back slowly all the way to your shoulder blades. Lift your legs. And so since you don't have a wall up against your feet, this might require some more muscular contraction. Option 1, with no strap. Retract shoulder blades onto your back. And then keep a little bend in your legs. You notice the more you keep your legs straight, the more your thighs are tense. It's a lot less passive. And so you can, again, dangle your feet, dangle your toes. And for optional dead bug, you might have heard this in classes at the end. You can reach your arms up. And sometimes I like cueing, just letting your feet shake, your fingers shake, and just letting everything go. We hold so much tension in our feet, in our hands, even in our faces. And so just shaking it out. And then you find stillness. And then sometimes you might even feel like a lingering tingle feeling. And letting that go. And so, of course, since you don't have the wall up against your feet, this isn't as passive. And so you might not be able to stay just as long as you would up against the wall. But this pose is really, really beneficial, really great, anywhere from, 5 minutes to 20, 25 minutes even. And just making sure you don't stay too long that you lose feeling in your feet. And so staying here. You can also keep your arms wide. The same options, hands above your head. And I notice that sometimes I forget about my breath in this posture because I am here for so long. And if that's similar to you, I use hands to my belly and just to feel myself breathe. And so those are a couple options. Again, of course, you can use the strap around your calf, your ankle, your knees, your thighs, something to just help you stabilize to center. And then once you're ready to come out, slowly bend your legs, plant your feet down, and just take a breath. And moving slowly, remember all your blood is towards your torso, and your legs might feel a little light. Being very mindful of that. And eventually lifting your hips, removing any bolster, block, any props, and just letting your body settle. And then just as you came in, you can either roll to your side or maybe come up to your elbows. And then make sure not to stand up right away. And slowly take your time through your seat. You can sit cross-legged in hero's pose. And then even as you started, lift with your feet lifted and with your head above your heart above your legs, you might feel all that blood rush back down. And so this is a very calming, really softening posture. And something to just help you relax. Really great for your system to take. And it can be done anywhere. All right, and thank you so much for joining us in this little tutorial for Viparita Karani. And it's really great to just find 5-10 minutes even to do this pose.